Hello everybody, I'm live. Hey, doing a live stream from my dumb phone. I'm heading out. I'm gonna go get some Mexican food, and I'm just walking around, and it's pretty hot here. It's about 102 degrees here in Texas. It's not that hot. At least it's not 117 or 112 or something like that, you know. Then it would be kind of sweaty. But, wait, there's a screen. So anyway, I'm heading over to Tacos My Way. This is one of these joints I go to all the time. And it's near my neighborhood, so I go for a walk, and sometimes I come out here. Some pretty tasty tacos, enchiladas, and burritos. All you have to do is walk across this Space Center Plaza, go through some other businesses, and then you'll get to the front door. But hey, I just wanted to do a live chat with you guys and ask you what's going up, what's going down. I've had a lot of pauses, you know, like a lot of people. I'm watching everybody on YouTube now. You know, the algorithm has changed. There's more of a hard clamp, more of a vice on all of the YouTube videos. You know, you have to have better quality. You have to have cleaner subjects. You have to fit within community guidelines. You have to have more than 10 minutes. You have to have high def. You have to have good sound quality. And you have to play within the rules, which I want to still keep my channel going within those rules. You know, you catch me alone and have a couple of drinks, I might tell you some otherwise things that I've ever fictioned or thought about in my dream state or open mind. But, you know, on my YouTube channel, what I want to do is just keep it going. So, no problems here. Let me show you here while I'm walking. I don't see my screen very well. Alright, let me show you right across the street. You'll be able to see the words, I think. If you look at that building right there, where's the yeah. Johnson Federal Credit Union. Isn't that what it says? Yeah, JSC Federal Credit Union. That's the Johnson Space Center Federal Credit Union. And if you go down that road is the entrance to the Johnson Space Center, where we have the people on Earth that started the space program, that sent people into space and eventually to the moon, and now on a space station orbiting Earth. So here I am. All I have to do is walk to the corner of my neighborhood to see this stuff. And I can't see any comments. It's too shady. It's too sunlighty, and I don't see the contrast. Okay, I'm gonna come in and order something. Hey, look at this restaurant. This is nice. This is Tacos My Way. I come over here and grab lunch. It's good. They have a lot of good condiments, you know, like basil, green pepper sauce. Hey, how are you? Can I film you? I'm live.
Oh, live?
No. I'm on my channel live.
Oh, nice.
I was talking and I just came out to get some food.
Oh, yeah. All right. No problem. What
How
can
are
we
you?
get started for you?
I just want to get a couple of enchiladas, like the...
No, we don't have enchiladas.
Not enchiladas, like the... which ones do I get? The tacos you have, like, what's the one, the one in the morning?
Oh, what, a breakfast
Juan at the
taco?
Playa?
Oh, yeah, the one in the million.
The one
that
in the
one is
million.
really good.
That became Juan at the Playa. Yeah, so just 2 shredded chicken would be good.
Yeah. Tengo dos pollos deshebrados. Do you like flour or corn?
I'll take flour. I don't like flour, but corn's modified. Either one.
Alrighty, 647. Tengo dos separado en harina.
Harinas. Wow, you pronounce that well.
Huh?
Did you say harinas?
Oh, harina.
Flour. You said flour.
Yeah, of course. For here to go.
For here.
Yeah. Can I give you a cup of water?
Yes, please.
Absolutely. You know, if you give me a finger scribble in there.
A finger scribble?
Yeah. Do you want a cup of water?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Good, doing
Good?
good. Yeah, today's been pretty busy.
Have you? Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll take it.
Business looks good.
Do you need a receipt?
No, ma'am. Thank you. I'm good. Okay, is there, which one's the water?
It'd be the
That one, okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Thank you. All right. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
So, I want to come out. I want to get away from the... What's the temperature today? It's hot, isn't it? It's like 119 or something.
The heat index, yeah.
The index, probably. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the heat index I think was 115 last time I looked.
It's been so muggy. I was sweating at 84 degrees.
Oh my gosh, yeah, no, it's terrible. I'm letting this little portable AC unit.
Oh yeah.
This is the best seat in the house. You want
Oh, to be cool? Yeah.
You're right in front of this thing?
I might catch a cold if I could. No. So I'm live. I don't have any comments on or anything. I don't even know how to turn them on. I'm not gonna fool with that. I'm live. I've been on for 7 minutes. Okay, cool. So I'm ordering at a restaurant. Love my community. So what's up, guys? I don't do that much live at all. I just became Super Chat enabled about an hour ago. And you know what, guys? I got a community strike. I did. I got a community strike. Because I have a video that I posted about 2 years ago. And I was reading an article off of Bibliotheca Pleiades. And I thought it was interesting. And it was about the Thule Society. And it was all about the origination of the German Labor Party with the esoteric origins and what they did within the party and how they formed themselves and what were the influences. You know, it was a strictly objective, journalistic, historical video. And they've taken it down and they've given me a community warning. I don't have any strikes. So this is my warning, actually. So I'm doing pretty good. And I appealed it, and I think I'm going to get that one and get it taken off because I don't have hate speech. I'm not like that. If you listen to me talk, I don't just come on and go, hey guys, let's pick on blah, blah. You know, I don't talk about celebrities. I don't talk about groups.
Alrighty, my friend. Two shredded
All right.
chicken taco.
Thank you, my friend.
Anything else for today?
No, that'll be fine. Thank you. I'll go get my size. Thank you. So, let me show you my plate. Look at that. My friend Crystal, she makes these. This is called Tacos My Way. That's real meat on a taco. Look at that. That's real. Really cooked, made meat. Now, I got the flour tortillas. I don't like to eat bread or flour because it's acidic and it clogs the bowels and causes inflammation and gas and bloating and slows down your digestion. What's there to like about it? So I don't eat bread, but when I come to get tacos, I won't eat corn because I don't want to mess with the genetically modified stuff that I know that they have in there. So I haven't really messed with it. I actually worked in the middle of a cornfield in Illinois, and I saw the signs down the road where you could get out of your car and walk into the rows of corn, and they had them labeled as to what genetic strain you were looking at. And they were all different, and you could check them out. So this is actual commercial science, people. It's not a secret. It's not some inward conspiracy or a theory. It's actually just the facts when you look into them. So those look delicious, don't they? I need to eat a piece of that. I got tired looking at it. I had to eat some. So what I'm going to do now I want to get you guys' input. What I'm talking about and thinking about is my channel has kind of come to a halt because I don't know what to post. You know, I'm a narrator, and I've been told I have a good voice for reading articles, and I can read magazine articles and anything I come up with, any website article. I'm kind of like, what was that guy's name on the AM radio that died a decade ago? That's the rest of the story. What was his name? But I may have a career in the future is reading on a radio station or doing some kind of voice work. But that's what people compliment me on. My other stuff that I do, you know, here around Houston, when I go around NASA, when I go around Clear Lake, sometimes I question theories, equations, math, what other people have put out there. I interview with physicists, I talk to people, I take measurements over water. I study scriptures. I've been a missionary. I grew up here in Houston in the space program, and I have a master's in advanced corporate finance with International, and I have a bachelor's, undergrad in economics, which is basically physics math. The same math used for physics is what we use in economics. And all of my math classes in the upper, 300, 400, 500, 600 level classes, those were all attended by math majors, physics majors, any kind of science, or the economists, or just pure math majors, And we all had the same statistical analysis, calculus-based statistics, quadratic equations, multiple linear regression, permutations, infinitesimal linear planes in an analytical function over data to construct something. And what we use in economics to construct some kind of factor out of your community and society that's functioning as an organism, trading and pumping, Anyway, don't mean to bore you. So that's how I have my theories about the nodal system of the Earth and the aurora borealis and how that creates a gateway that goes from the underworld to our world. And it's also a torus or a toroid shape where it goes around the outer perimeter of the Earth. Now, I do lean towards more of the flat Earth model than the heliocentric global model because I can't find any proof on the spherical model. And I can't prove the flat model because I don't know the edge. But my theory on what's missing on the edge is that when we go to the circumference of the Earth, if you're looking at a toroid, look at an electromagnetic field. If you have an anodal dipole in the center, which would be the North Pole, aurora borealis, and you go across the cathodally charged plane to the outer perimeter, it does not have to be a circle. A circle is known as a torus if it's an active toroidal field and it's a perfect donut. If you wrap a coil around a donut, it'll create a torus. But it's a toroidal field. Toroidal field could be an 11-point star fort shape, You can put any number of cathodes and negative charges around the pillars, around the outside, and you can change the shape of it. Like the logo of the quasar star that has like this, it has like the inverted apexes of the curves between the four cardinal points. That's an inverted star, where it curves in. And I think that's more like what the shape of the Earth is. I don't know if it has four pillars like the Bible says, or if it has actually more. But that's what I found in my research, is to be that. Anyway, so let's talk about what's going on in the news. You want to storm Area 51? Who is going to storm Area 51? Because if they storm Area 51, what they're going to find, first of all, is a stone wall and a steel door. Nobody's going to get in. And then they're going to look like Native Americans over the pipeline, They're just going to be camping there, and they're not going to be able to do anything. No way anybody got in there. And the other thing is they moved already. They moved to Utah. They're in Tooele, Tooele. And, you had S4 and Los Alamos and Sandia and Tonopah Range and several other sites where ships and aliens are at. So it's not like if you raid Area 51, you're going to solve everything and everybody's going to come out and you're going to divulge everything that's been going on. it's all dispersed and moved out into other areas. Let's see what's going on in politics. I don't follow politics. I don't watch the news. I don't listen to. I prefer Trump over Hillary. I didn't vote, but I would have voted for Trump over Hillary just to stop the crime that I perceived was going on in her organization. And he's not perfect, and he's not a superhero in a lot of things. And of course, we're going to Mars now. We've started the, what is it, Space Force, which I don't believe in, actually. Realistically, I just can't say that that exists. So I've been debating with that. I've been looking to what I can create as other content for videos, and I'm coming up with blanks as far as what I can do, because, you know, I don't want to be this flat earther video maker where it just comes out, hey guys, today I'm flat earth, blah, blah. There are so many other topics, and there are many other research questions that exist that transcend above flat earth. It's the why, the what, the when, the where, the how, you know. Not just proving the disc, as people say, which, you know, I want to also say that I do not believe in the disc. I do not believe in the Flat Earth Society. They came up with this insane explanation that the Earth is accelerating through space, which would mean it's increasing speed continuously. It doesn't even have a constant, like Einstein said. It's just increasing forever, and that's what gives you gravity. Like when a car puts you back in the seat when you take off, that feeling, that gravity that goes back on you. They're saying that's gravity because you're accelerating forever. How could that happen? Think about it. You're in an Oort cloud in a spinning universe in an insignificant cluster of star systems within one non-binary solar system, which is completely odd, and all the rest of the planetary structures in the other solar systems binary. And you know what happened, guys? We did have a binary solar system, I think, at one time, or we had two suns, because Saturn burned out. It became a brown dwarf. If you look at Saturn, it's a ball of gas. It's not a solid. It burned out, and it has rings around it, which are actually moons or exoplanets that have been erased and are making trailing rings. Just like if you took the heliocentric model of what we live in now, and you took the sun and burned it into a brown dwarf, and it burned out, and you took all of the 7 planets, and including sun and moon, and you just spun them around in a trail that left an essence residual. That's what's happened to Saturn. It is the black sun because it burnt out. It's a brown dwarf. Let me take a bite of my taco. Hold on. Wow. Tacos my way. Saturn and Gemini in Clear Lake in Texas. Come on by. Spend your money. Line up outside. Look, sidewalk's empty. Line up. Very tasty. That is really good. What else have I been doing? I've been thinking of what kind of videos can I make, and this is my first live stream because I want to see the comments and I want to see what you guys recommend to me. Please be nice, please be civil. I want to choose moderators and start having a live show regularly, maybe 2-3 times a week with the super chat. That way I can get my channel started. I need some equipment. I need about, literally, from what I'm watching from the creators, and minimum like a D50 Canon camera, a tripod, a good flexible tripod with a gimbal, a couple of lenses, a zoom, a GoPro or 2, some batteries, and some lighting for my studio with some filters. I could spend under $1,000. I would say like $800, $900. I can get a lot of that stuff on Amazon, and I'm told what to look for, and then my show will light up, and I'll have some motivation to get up every morning, get out of bed, get ready, and sit at my desk and make a video every day. It'll become a habit. What I want to do is like make it a habit, so I'm doing it every day, just like you would drink coffee or walk the dog, It's that easy to make. I look at like what I'm looking at, Jay Leno's garage when he goes through all those cars. If you actually think, I was shocked. He's already done that show for more than 10 years. I don't know how many years, maybe 16 years. And I remember seeing it, but I never paid attention. But he's doing at least a video a week. So he's got probably 1,000 videos of all of these cars, you know, wild stuff. But I figure the same mentality. I have to go for the nickels and dimes. I'm not trying to make a viral video that gets 25 million views because it was fantastic in editing and soundtrack and my B-roll. I'm just trying to catch on so people can see what I do, what I believe, what I'm trying to promote, what I'm trying to talk about, which are topics that most people just don't know or talk about. Excuse me, I took a bite. There's Venezuelan ballad music going on. Well, it's Caribbeana. It's Caribeña. Es caribeña, sí, yo hablo español también, sí. Yo fui gerente de uma empresa para América Latina e para Brasil também. Eu falo português ainda. Além disso, sim. Eu conheço há muitos estados do Brasil. São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Porto Alegre, Campo Grande, Concórdia, Paraná. Eu fui às cataratas de Iguaçu, tenho fotos lá. Eu falo português, sim, além. E eu hablo espanhol também, e hablo francês, alemão e italiano en conocimiento, o sea, me puedo defender. I can defend myself in 3 other languages other than the 3 I'm fluent in. So that was my career. I got a graduate degree in international management and I started traveling the world, setting up distributors and contacts for vaccine companies, companies with farm equipment, companies with things from disinfectants to feeding systems to incubators to grain silos to sweepers to harvesters to tractors. My dealer in Nicaragua when I was in Managua in the 90s, his last name was Baltodano. Look up Baltodano, presidential candidate in Nicaragua for president when I was with him. I had some elite clients that he owned the Ford tractor dealership that was taken over by the Sandinistas when the Sandinistas took over Nicaragua. And I've been to the farm and we ate steak there and he had a few cattle. He said most of his herd got eaten by the Sandinistas who fed their soldiers with the cattle from his farm when they took over his dealership and his farm. And he and his family had to flee away and find refuge. And that was in Nicaragua right before I was there, a few years. But I did go to the farm, and it's a beautiful place, and he is back in business, or he was at that time. I don't know anything about him now. His first name is Duilio, Duilio. The only Duilio I know. Yeah, he ran for president in Nicaragua. He said they used to spot the people in their organization that were betraying the system and running with the Sandinistas at night as Contras because they would have mud on their elbows and on their knees because they would be crawling around in the dark underneath fences and avoiding laser and sensor beams. And so as they were sneaking across properties and seizing property and taking over installations and depots, they would create these calluses on their elbows and their knees, like I've got. See, I must have been doing it. Look how ugly that is. That doesn't look pretty, does it? So he said that's how they spotted them. So they rooted out everybody, got rid of them. He took back over his tractor dealership, and he just went back in business because he learned how to spot everybody and get rid of them because he was smart. So, hold on. And that's because these people that operated his dealership and took over his Ford dealership and his farm and ate all of his cattle and fed their soldiers with it were the regime, you know. There's nothing he could do about it. He just had to get away and come back when they were out of power. Now you can read about it. I remember the first time I was in Nicaragua, I was at the hotel that looks like a pyramid. I can't remember, it's the Managua Intercontinental. It was. And within a couple of blocks, there's a strip club and a dance joint. And I was in my hotel eating in the cafeteria at night, and I was all by myself, and this table of people, and women and men all dressed in business. They invited me over to their table. And they said, hey, why don't you come over and eat with us? And you look lonely over there. You don't have to sit by yourself. Are you a gringo? Where are you from? You coming down to, what are you doing in Nicaragua? And I said, oh, I manage some equipment business, and I'm looking for my distributor, and we're going to go visit some clients. Nothing to do tonight. And they're like, hey, come party with us. And I ended up with this guy. I remember his name was David. If you look this up and you find anything, let me know. This guy's name was David. This is a true story. Off the top of my head. So we're sitting in the restaurant. He's got like 3 women with him. They were all co-workers at his office. And they worked for, I think it was Violeta Chamorro, the one that had all of the shoes. They were in the staff. These would be like people that were on the White House staff of Donald Trump. I was having dinner with as a foreign businessman. And later, the dude that was in the crowd said, let's go to my club. We got in his BMW. We drove downtown about 3 blocks, got out. He showed me his 45 Smith & Wesson. We walked into his club. We got the executive VIP treatment, gold, platinum club, and left. And yeah, that's the way I rolled in Nicaragua. That was Managua. Yeah. Wasn't that her name? Was it Corazon Aquino? You know what they say Corazon Aquino's name is? It's like, honey, not right now, not here. Because it's like Corazon, heart, not here. Aquí, no. Corazon Aquino. Have you ever heard that? Anyway, that was one of the jokes when I traveled around Central America. I first went to San Pedro Sula, Honduras, in about 1992. And I was recently out of graduate school with my degree in business, got assigned to be a biotechnology, vaccine research, farm medicine, sanitization industry, clean rooms, ventilation, HVAC, HEPA filter systems, pressurized rooms, Magna Helix, plenums. That was all my career for 15 years, what I did. So that was, that took me around the world. But what I did with that job, I met a lot of people that were billionaires. They had a lot of money, and they're not pretentious, you know. They don't run around town with a fancy watch on and you know, storming around in their BMW or something like that. They drive old trucks. They have old clothes on. They have holes in their jeans. Their clothes are worn out. Their shirt's probably been worn 4 or 5 times that week, and it's dirty, and it's not perfectly clean, but it's okay. And they might be wearing a cowboy hat or something and have a yoke on their shirt. Like one of my clients in Mexico, you can look this up, his last name was Romero. And he was the owner of the Hotel Radisson chain for all of Mexico. So everything you find in Acapulco, Cancun, Veracruz, near the borders, he was in charge of all of, not in charge of, he owned it. He was the franchise owner for all of Mexico for the Radisson Hotel chain. And he also had a chicken farm, and he raised egg layer hens that were laying eggs for the supermarket, the ones that you eat on the table egg hens. Table egg laying hens. It's a different market, you know, not all chicken is chicken. These hens, when they're done, they end up usually in a Campbell soup can. They're like grade B, grade C, class 1, 2, and 3 meat, you know. They're not the broiler you're buying in the supermarket that's going to be 7 live pounds, right, when it goes to slaughter. But I used to design the farms, the grow out, the feeding systems, the vaccination systems, the watering systems, the ventilation, the fans, the curtains, the transport, the nest collection of the eggs, the trays, the flats, the trolleys, all the way to the hatchery, the clean room, the refrigeration equipment, the sterilization equipment and chemicals, the setting equipment for the setters, what they're called, where you put them in for 19 and a half days and they go through the hatchery, which is another, all the way to 21 days or 504, 507 hours if you do it right. You don't want to go too fast. You can speed up the mitosis of the cells and you'll accelerate a chicken's hatch in its birth time with the temperature too high. The only thing that can speed up cell mitosis is temperature. It can't be humidity. It's not mercury. It's not some metal. It's not some lead. When people are born with deformities, usually from birth, that are physical and irregular in certain joints or bones or things like that, they're from high temperature. They're not genetic. They're not, you know, you're not looking for some spine. A high temperature, what it does is it hardens and shuts off the growth plates so that they stunt and tilt. Like let's say at the end of your finger, the metacarpal in your finger, if it stunts and the growth doesn't go through all the way to the end of the soft tissue, then it's going to curve. Then your finger is going to jut out sideways and it's going to be crooked. If that happens below your knees, you might end up bow-legged, or you might end up under your ankles with your feet turned out, or some crooked toes, or a small head, or a neck that doesn't have any curvature, or fingers that are really tight. You need to pop your knuckles all the time because you have 206 bones in your body and all of them have growth plates, and all of those growth plates have to have the right temperature. If it's too hot, they're all going to grow too rapidly, which makes them harden too fast, and then they run out of recellular basal cell production material and they stunt, and then they curve as they dry up and kind of dehydrate. Think of a dehydrated peach. Think of dehydrated peach slices when you pull them out of the dehydrator, what they look like. That's kind of like what you're doing to your discs between your vertebrae and the growth plates on the end of your finger carpals and your metatarsals in your feet and your bones underneath your knee and your ankles and everything you have. So what else is going on? Yeah, I don't know. You know, I hear about Antarctica. Antarctica is a place where people have, 56, 58 countries have a treaty. No one goes there. No one will violate the treaty. You can't go there as a tourist without a license or without an approved governmental, like federal program from some country that's down there near Antarctica. And you can't just roam down there freely. I know it's a harsh environment, but companies don't even try. And there's not one country out of 56 that's just blasted barriers or taken off and done something wild or just been uncovered tunneling underneath everybody else's little camp. Nothing's going on. It's like, what happened? So what I look at is like, if the circumference was a perimeter instead of a pole at the south, if it's flat, then what would that look like? You could have a star shape, or you could have 6 pillars. A cathode is a pillar. It's like what you call a lode, L-O-D-E. A load point is a cathodal point, where it's like a pillar, like in the Bible when it says the earth is on 4 pillars and it's immovable. That's kind of what they're talking about, is the load points of the electromagnetic system that maintains our reality, our holographic reality over the plane. Excuse me, I had to take a bite. '50-year anniversary. I think it is such a joke. You know, how are we supposed to celebrate today? If anybody's looked up on videos and you found anything with the wires, the harnesses, the flashes of light, you know, we're hooked up above the packs on the back, the lighting issues, all the way to Bart Sabrell, funny thing happened on the way to the moon, the fact that they were filming in color, the dust problem, no dust on the footage. The big one for me is the orange juice inside the Hasselblad camera. There was an astronaut that was drinking orange juice, and the orange juice slipped out of his ring around his helmet, and it went into the camera and stained the film, and there's an orange spot on several pictures you can see from Apollo. I don't know if it's 11, 12, 13, 14. But there's no way an astronaut would have a juice leak in his helmet leaking through his seal around his neck without that killing him from the vacuum of space. So there's absolutely no way that an astronaut that had the integrity of a full working normal spacesuit was in space, was drinking orange juice inside of his helmet. The orange juice dripped on the face shield around the collar and went down, and then just freely leaked out the seal onto the outside of the seal, and then dripped on the camera mounted to his chest, went inside the camera and stained the film with the orange juice. Think about that. That's just absolutely insane. There's no way that if a juice got through your O-ring, through your helmet, you would have been sucked out of that helmet already. You would have been gone into the void of a vacuum of space. There's absolutely no way to survive that. Think about it, guys. These space suits that they have, when you see them walking around on the moon and they're swinging golf clubs and everything's wrinkly, they would be not even able to move their arms. You know, if they tried to move their hand, it would just be like, they wouldn't even be able to move their fingers. It would be taut like the rubber on your tire on your car if you thump on the sidewall. It would be, and that's only what, 25 to 35 pounds. If you had thousands of pounds of pressure in a suit and your glove was the only thing holding you between getting sucked out into space and continuing the footage, that would be kind of freaky, right? And yet these guys just bounce around in the space station. There's debris going by at 17,500 miles an hour. People are spinning around in their khakis with socks on and their polo shirts, and they're hanging from wires and harnesses. And you can look up the funny thing to watch for a while. It gets sad after a while though, but you just look up ISS fails, hoaxes, wires, harnesses, exposed. Look up those kind of words, and just, you can see hundreds after hundreds of demonstrations of how they fail on their pulleys and their wires. And it's just kind of depressing after a while. Some of them are just super prominent actors, and it's repulsive that, you know, now they even have master classes. And I've even noticed, even on my channel, when I run commercials, I run his master class commercial on my channel. To me, when I watch my video. Now, how offensive is that? Let's see, what else is going on? Let's see, parascience, the New Age? No. No, I don't consider myself a New Ager at all. You know, people that are in the New Age are people like, I think of Sedona, Arizona. It's a beautiful place. I used to live in Arizona. I used to tour in Sedona. I've been down the cliffs. But I was never into it as a spiritual center, chakra point of the earth, and the New Agers that live there. And it's all Luciferian and Gaia stuff, you know. All about the goddess worship and the feminine energy and this law of sacrifice and the Pri and the prana and all that. Some of that's true, but you live it by learning God and Christ, and they help you with it. It's like teaching Peter how to walk on water. That's another point. Let's talk about Peter walking on water. Did you have to be the Son of God to walk on water? Think about it. Why would Christ have been teaching Peter how to walk on water if he didn't think Peter could do it? And Peter actually did it. He lost his concentration when he fell in the water, but Peter did it. And you know, Christ was in Tibet before he was 30 years old. He was recorded as being he crossed the Himalayas and he was over in Tibet, where he studied with the yellow monks. And those are the monks that are said to protect a secret entrance to the inner world, where there's an inner race of beings that control mankind and have to do with the origin of the species underneath the earth, and the monks protect the. And have you ever seen the yellow monks in like the MMA fights? Oh, and nobody can beat those yellow monks. They're just like, they fight with trees, you know, when they're training. They kick trees and they punch trees and they learn with logs and chains, and they're just badasses. You're not going to beat a yellow monk. But anyway, so Jesus went out there and trained with these guys, and they also can show people, and it's proven, they can walk on water, they can levitate stuff, they can levitate stones, they can make these stones lift up and go into this cliff wall and a pit receptacle that they built. They know exactly the frequency and the amount of drum strokes that it takes to make it go through this arc. And it's all about frequency and the bands of frequency and the latency zones that you see between the frequency bands. Like when you look at your little logo on your smartphone, when it says your number of signal bands, it's got the little one and then that second and the third one and the fourth. The black space in between, or the gray space in between, is the latency zone. There's nothing going on there. And then it zaps back into, synchronization in phase, and it appears again, and then it goes out of phase, and then it comes back in phase, and every one represents a band. So you choose a band and you jump in. Let me finish this taco. I like this live. If you contributed to Super Chat, thank you very much. I want to see in your comments what I'm supposed to do, because I've been putting up videos about flat Earth. I've been putting up videos about NASA. Sometimes I'll just go on Wikipedia and read, like, who is Kronos? What is Greek mythology? What is, I've thought about reading classic books. Like, what if I read the Iliad and the Odyssey on my show? Would that get viewers or subscribers? What do? I don't want to come on and expose current events and talk about celebrities or have anything to do with any kind of hate speech or any kind of negative material that I deliver in my show. I'm still a truther and I have my beliefs, but I can still contribute to YouTube in a way that I can comply with to provide material, and at the same time give truth to those people that are seeking for it, without going out over the edge and putting odd theories in people's faces that appear to them as theories and appear to them as maybe something harmful, irregular, or something that may need to be stricken or removed. I want to stay on so that I can be the guy that provided some truth and fit within the guidelines, whatever it took. These are the best tacos, absolutely the best tacos. This is absolutely just a hole-in-the-wall diner at the edge of my community. I come to it absolutely to taste it. This is called Tacos My Way. It's at the corner of Gemini and Saturn Lane, half a mile from the entrance to the Johnson Space Center, right across the street from the Johnson Space Center Federal Credit Union. Okay, folks? So thank you for coming to the show. This is Alex. I enjoyed the live stream. Let's see if I can get it to stop. Please hit like, subscribe, ring the bell. I appreciate you if you contributed something. If you didn't, I have no idea of seeing that. Thank you for coming, and bye-bye. Whoa.